Now, stuff we were watching over the weekend. We can get right into it here. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Now, did all three of us see this?
Oh,
Yes.
Okay, I was mainly asking for Chris because I know Steve and I saw it together.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
So, Steve, we got to talk about the circumstances in which we saw this movie.
Yeah, we went down to Regal Essex, which is a secret movie theater in New York City. It's a nice movie theater, but
Very nice, brand new movie theater.
yes.
Is that the one in the back of the McDonald's?
Yes,
On
yeah. You go to the back
Gramercy?
of the McDonald's,
Yeah, okay.
and then
Yeah.
there's like a staircase that you go
Mhm.
around a corner, and up the stairs is the movie theater.
And it's funny enough, I saw Game Night there.
Oh yeah, and it's it was I wanted to see it on Wednesday because that's the only time I had, and I wanted to have something to talk about for this guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll go watch it. I had Wednesday free, but the movie came out on Thursday, and the only thing available was there, and it was a Regal fan event.
Fan event. Now,
Excuse me?
I don't know
here's
what that
the
is.
thing. If I were a fan of
Mhm.
Dungeons and Dragons, the game, which I'm not.
Nope.
And no shade. I've just literally never played it before in my life. But if I were a fan, and if I were a fan that was excited about this movie, if I went to something called a fan event and it was this, I'd be pissed. Here's the fan event, okay? The event, such as it was, Chris Cabin, you go to get your ticket scanned, and at the check-in, you're given a little like half sheet movie poster thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at it, but I'm guessing some kind of coloring book related to Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay,
So we politely refused those.
sure.
thank you.
That was
Uh,
a smart move, yeah.
But so then I thought, okay, well, maybe it's like they're gonna zoom in Chris Pine and he's gonna
Yep.
do like a little
Yeah.
live intro or something like
That'd
that.
be nice. That sounds nice.
The only like specialty thing they had was basically every single like electronic press kit
Yes.
video clip doodad little blurb thing that they filmed to go in front of Maria Menounos or whatever the fuck ever. They just took all of those and stitched them together to make this like 5 to 7 minute like playlist compilation of all these like little bonus things, and we're sitting there like, just turn the movie on at this point.
I mean, that is inspiring that that the studios have thought this through and finally figured out a way to monetize EPKs.
Yeah,
Like, they've been looking for, so they've been throwing them away to fucking people who are writing about your movie all the time and doing
That's right.
stories about it. Now you finally found a way to make some money off the shit. Good for
Because
you.
it's just
yeah.
just
For you
them
guys.
being like, what was your favorite scene? And then they'll show a scene or be like, oh, what
Yep.
who's your favorite character? I love when this happened. I'm like, I didn't even fucking see it yet.
Yep.
I'm literally seconds away from watching your movie, and you're showing me a trailer with Chris Pine talking about how much fun something was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's just kind of, so like a fan event.
But I sure spent $22 per ticket. That's for sure.
Ugh.
Yeah, dude, it's $22 per ticket to turn down a coloring book.
No, I got normal trailers. I was fine. I was happy.
We had some trailers. It was all Paramount trailers
Yeah.
too.
So what do we think of the movie? Where is everybody at here?
Here's where I'm at. Dumb as donkey dick, but a lot of fun moments.
Mhm.
I do think, and you can see here on the lower third, it's directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein. Chris made reference to their previous film Game Night, or a previous film of theirs. I don't know if they've had anything in between.
Oh, the Vacation remake as well.
Oh, well, so you can just forget that exists.
Right.
But there's way too much comedy fucking jammed in this thing, and like you can, as Steve, I was saying this to you at the theater, like you can have comedy stuff in adventure movies. That's Star Wars,
Sure.
It's Indiana Jones, whatever. But it's just like the movie stops to tell some jokes, and I'm like, but the adventure's running down the road. Catch up with that. You know what I mean? So that was me. That was me.
Mm-hmm. I'm fine. It's one of those situations where it gets by being just a little bit better than its competition.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it looks a little bit better. The jokes are a little bit funnier. There are way too many. The biggest thing I had an issue with is that this, like everything else, just feels like the first couple episodes of a TV show.
Yep.
There's no real structure to it. It's just kind of like, follow these people on their mystical adventure.
Yeah.
And you get a better cast because it's not a TV show. it is an actual movie. So you get a Pine, you get what's the
Michelle Rodriguez,
Hugh Grant. You can
Hugh
get
Grant.
big people to do this stuff, so it feels better and it works better. But to me, I was just like, oh, this feels like what Apple TV would have made if they had the money to do something like this. And you know, and again, fine, I didn't mind it, but I just didn't come away with anything. Same thing with Game Night, honestly.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I again, like the jokes I think are good. They are better, but there's just far too many of them. Like the opening bit with the bird guy, like, oh, where's Jonathan? And I mean, here's the thing: Chris Pine's a fucking movie star, so you put him in something, he's giving his all the entire time. He's not embarrassed to be in this movie, which is actually a very good thing.
Because Hugh Grant is, and you can fucking tell.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
When was the last time you saw him this embarrassed? The fucking Oscars red carpet?
Or I mean,
too long, then.
My favorite punching bag, Paul Rudd, is embarrassed in that Ant-Man 3 movie. You could just tell he's not comfortable. He's just like, okay, I'm still doing this
again.
Shit.
Yeah,
exactly. Pine's committed. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people love it, which is great. I don't whatever Dungeons and Dragons buttons it's pushing for your brain, I don't have those, and that's nothing wrong with you or me. I just don't have those. So like any of those references or like, oh, it's just like playing a session and like this guy's making this joke and all that stuff. I don't have any of that. So I'm just going on the movie. I didn't understand the world terribly well. I don't think it explained it. You know what I mean? Like what classes of people are. There's just bird people. It's all fine because it's like fantasy. It's fine, right? But not really. And I think that the middle of the movie is a fucking sinkhole where we do get to the dungeon and the dragon, and we have the guy from Bridgerton that everybody says steals the movie, and it's like, yeah, cool. He just does a different movie, and then he leaves, and then he comes back at the end like, "Did you miss me?" And I'm like, I'm not sure who you were.
It's kind of funny because Regé-Jean Page, Mr. Bridgerton guy, you know,
hot as hell, really hot dude,
very cute.
Yeah, that's great. But like he's all over that fucking trailer, and because he's coming off of like, you know, he left Bridgerton, and you know, we want to be making movies and whatnot. So I was like, okay, he's in this movie, but then he's not in the movie. You know what I mean? And so then you're just like, okay. I mean, you put him all over that fucking trailer. I get it.
Because they go all this way, and then it's like, oh, and then they're gonna pick up like I've played role-playing games, you know what I mean? Like, and now they're picking up another member of their party, and he's gonna be. But then he's like, well, I'll see you in the stinger scene or whatever, and I'm like, well, that's kind of stupid.
Well, it's the other side of like, rather than world build, you do something like the Rick and Morty playbook, where just roll with it. All the weird stuff that comes in, that's just part of the world. Everybody accepts it. It's just we're just here, and that's just how this works. I mean, I think. Why you're seeing such a positive reception to this is the same reason you still hear people go on and on about Game Night. It's because it's a little better than its competition. And therefore it gets a big, huge pass. It has a better cast than its competition. Little bits are funnier, but like as a whole thing, you're just like, okay, that happened. That definitely happened. I won't say it didn't, but it just doesn't have any structure. It doesn't hit you at all.
No, I'm not, and I'm probably not going back for 2. I mean, you know, and good on them. They've got a new fucking franchise.
Hey, yeah. I mean, it's great. That's the other thing. And I know it's another low bar kind of thing, but you know, it's just nice to watch a big thing that's not connected to other big things. And
I mean, it is. It's connected to one of the biggest things.
You know what I mean, though.
It's
not connected to 16 other fucking movies that look exactly the same.
No, for sure. I agree.
And, you know, a lot of big sets are built. Like, sure, there's CGI, but like, there are a ton of big sets. There's a ton of practical effects, you know, practical costume stuff like that fucking bird guy or whatever. Like,
bird guy was cute.
Really cool, real costume. So all that stuff is really great. I'll say another thing. I was not, because the only other thing I think I've seen him in are those 2 abhorrent Jurassic World sequels where he annoyed the shit out of me in the second one. The third one he's barely in, but Justice Smith, I thought was quite funny in this movie, playing the Simon, the guy who's trying to do some magic but isn't great at it. You know, he's good. Sophia Lillis, who's I think in those It movies, she plays some magical something or other with a tail. She was pretty funny in the movie.
I got to tell you, man,
shapeshifter,
and Michelle, I liked Michelle Rodriguez. I think her and Pine had good chemistry. They were a good anchor for the movie.
Totally.
I had no idea what the Red Witch was, what she wanted, where she was going, and then at the end we're fighting her like we're the Power Rangers, and I'm like, cool, are we over yet?
Yeah.
So that's just me.
Yeah, it was a bit of a Power Ranger fight there. You're totally right. So you could do worse at the movies, folks.
Yeah. Dude, that's on the
could
poster.
do worse.
Yeah.
Exclamation point. Could do worse.